we're still 2 days away from the trade deadline, and we got three trades today. Oh, one big one, and I want to go ahead and get down and talk about it because this trade deadline is going to be interesting. The first one being the Grizzlies moving on from Jaren Jackson Jr. Something that nobody really expected at the moment. No rumors were about it at all. But Grizzlies getting into the rebuilding era, and they trade Jaren Jackson Jr., Vince Williams, John Conchar, and Jock Landale. They trade him to the Utah Jazz out of all places. Something like I said, nobody expected. No rumors were flying, and I love it. I love it. Get a bomb in class, like it was amazing. But the Jazz, they traded Walter Clayton Jr., Taylor Hendricks, Kyle Anderson, and Georges Niang, and three first-round picks. And the biggest thing of this trade was obviously Jaren Jackson Jr. and the three firsts. These three firsts were not any of Utah's own picks except 2027 swap. I believe a 2027 Lakers pick and a 2031 Houston pick. Fact check me on that because I don't want to spread misinformation. But let's go ahead and start with the Grizzlies, though. They get three first round picks. They just got four from the Desmond Bane trade. So now they have 13 total. That's the most in the NBA. They cleared up about 30 mil off of Jaren Jackson Jr. because he had a nasty 5-year, $240 million contract. It was huge. But they get back two young guys. They get back Walter Clayton Jr. and Taylor Hendricks, two guys they can utilize. But this brings two big questions for the Grizzlies. Do you keep Ja or do you trade him? If you trade him, you could probably get a young player, multiple picks per se, build up on your start team, obviously, unless you want to be greedy. Um, and I believe if you keep Ja, you got to fire your coach. You got to get rid of him because Ja does not thrive with him as the coach. We have seen it this year, a lot of drama per se. But in my professional opinion, they trade Ja. You get a young guy. You try to work your way up in the draft. I mean, you're at the lowest this franchise has been in so long. So you gotta build your way up. Obviously, you don't have any like franchise young guys like the Jazz had. Um, you have Cedric Howard, you have Jalen Wells, not guys that I believe can lead a franchise, but guys that can contribute to a good winning team. So they have to draft well in the next couple of years, and you have to make a decision on John now or later. And we'll probably see it in the next 2 days or so. But let's move on to the team that really made this trade happen was the Jazz. Trading three first round picks, Walter Clayton and Taylor Hendricks, Kyle Anderson, Georges Niang. They don't really lose much playing time. They trade three first, but not their own from this year, which is amazing. And they get a nice front court. They get Laurie at their three, Jaren at their four, and Kessler at their five. That's three 7-footers. You're gonna have Keontae and Ace run the 1 and 2. So you have a really, really tall lineup. Amazing rim protection. I can preach that all day. Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to be both in DPOY conversations. They're going to be like combined as like 5 blocks. That's crazy to say, but they might. Off the bench, you're going to have Collier, Sensabaugh, Cody Williams, Yusuf Nurkic, and don't forget, they got Vince Williams, John Conchar from Jack Landale from the Grizzlies too. And you're also going to have a top pick in this draft because if I'm the Jazz, I'm tanking. There's about like 30 games left. I'm tanking. This is a win next year type of trade, not win now because Kessler's hurt. And this is the time to experiment and see what you can do with your offensive schemes. And in doing this, I think it brings a lot of outside shooting and spacing too with that size. So you can hunt mismatches. Like mismatches are going to be there all day. Pick and pops, that's going to be a huge thing. Go screens, flare screens. But like I said, pick and pops with Keontae, with Laurie or Jaren. Yeah, it's going to be like their offense is going to be nice because Keontae's already having a career year averaging 24 and 8. He's only going to get better. Laurie's averaging almost 30. He's having a career year. Should have been an all-star. I don't know how he wasn't. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he can shoot, he can score. Definitely needs to be more physical and rebound better, but he can bring that defense. We already know. Ace is averaging about 15 when he's playing 25 minutes. And Kessler, he was playing great before he got hurt. And Yusuf Nurkic has been on a tear when Kessler's hurt. He's put up multiple triple doubles. So I like where the team's going. And like I said, you're going to have a top pick. So that pick's going to utilize. Hopefully, maybe you get a franchise type of guy. Like that would be crazy for the Jazz. But I definitely expect to see him in the playoffs next year. And I'm gonna give the Jazz an A. I'm gonna give the Grizzlies an A. You did what you each respectively had to do to build on for the future, and I like the trade a lot for both teams. Moving on to the next trade of the day that we had a three-team trade between the Bulls, the Wolves, and the Pistons. The Bulls are trading Kevin Herter and Dario Saric to the Pistons for Jaden Ivey and they're getting Mike Conley too from the Wolves. And Timberwolves are receiving. Oh wait, nothing. They're receiving nothing. Um, the Pistons also receive a first round pick swap of the Timberwolves for this year. Um, and let's start off with the Wolves because they have not much to say at the moment. They did this as a salary dump. They could have got Kobe White. A lot of sources are saying they could have got Kobe White, but they did as a salary dump so they can have room for Giannis. They are very confident in getting Giannis, and I like it. I like the aggressiveness because I mean they have the pieces. They have Julius Randle, they have Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Rob, first round picks to make the deal happen. So nice to see where they would do around that, and I hope Giannis gets traded there. Don't want to see Milwaukee no more. Um, the next team, Chicago. They're really aggressive right now. They just traded for 2 second round picks, which is huge, and they didn't give up nothing. But now they're trading away Kevin Huerter, who's been a great player this year. He's averaging about 11. He rebounds the ball extremely well. He plays defense. But they're getting a young guy. They're getting a 23-year-old Jaden Ivey who averages about 17 last year, not getting as much minutes. So he's averaging about 9. But he's the guy of promise. You know, he can play defense. He can shoot. He can run the floor. He's fast. So I like the trade getting Jaden Ivey. We'll talk about the trade they did right after that too in a second. But and then for the Pistons, trading away Ivey because I think they're believing in Danis Jenkins a lot more over Ivey. I think he's proven himself a lot more this year. But now your wing spot, you're gonna have Duncan Robinson and Kevin Huerter, two guys that can shoot extremely well, play defense. So they're really opening up the floor when they have Cade coming and Danis Jenkins. So they have shooters on the sides. And I like what Detroit's building over there. Like I said, they're the 1 seed, so it's only going to get better and better. Like this is a good trade because Ivy hasn't been contributing as much. He's not getting as much PT, and like I said, Daniel Jenkins has been killing it this year. For the Bulls, I'm gonna give them a B at the moment, maybe a C plus because we have to see what they do in the next day or so with Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. For the Pistons, I'm gonna give them an A. You're trying to win now. Like this is your year, so you want to win now and they make a move that can contribute and it helps with what they do, rebounding and shoot and playing defense. So great trade for them and for the Wolves. I can't grade them right now until they make a move on Giannis per se. And moving on to the final trade of the day, we had the Bulls again. Like Bulls are like I know Chicago is happy. We haven't seen this many trades in so long, and they're trading draft capital. When did they ever get draft capital? This time they're trading Nikola Vucevic in the second this year for Anthony Simons in the second this year. Like I was saying, they're very guard heavy at the moment. You know, so right now on paper they have Josh Giddey, Io, Kobe, Anthony Simons, Trey Jones, Mike Conley, Jaden Ivey, probably forgetting somebody else. Very, very guard heavy. That's 7 guards. You got to get rid of about 2 people, and I believe it's going to be Kobe White and Io. Sources are saying expect them to get moved, so we should see that in the next day or two. Um, and they just traded Vooch, so expect them to get traded maybe for a center, or we can see what they do. Maybe they keep Zach Collins and or Jalen Smith. But Chicago is definitely trying to build for the future. They got a couple young guys, so um, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But I want to talk about the Celtics because we talked about a lot about the Bulls already. Um, the Celtics, everyone thought going into this year that they're going to be tanking, going for the lottery, and Jaylen Brown said, "No, I'm going to put on the MVP showcase. He's averaging about 30. He's killing, and maybe even Jason Tatum still returns. But now you get Vucevic because your biggest uh, question was Kata. Like, can Kata be a starting center in the playoffs? And I don't think he could have. He's not terrible at all. He's been playing well. He's very physical, great post D with something he can influence on Vucevic. But bring in Vucevic who can score the ball at his own, rebound. He averages about 17 and 11, double machine. Um, he's a seasoned veteran that can help him in the playoffs. And I think this is a year because the East is so not stacked that if they do and Jason Tatum comes back, this is a year that you can win or even get to the finals. Like this is a promising year. You have the guys that have already been there. You have young guys now like Hugo, Jordan Walsh, who have been contributing and maybe they want some experience. So this is a great year for the Celtics at the moment. And the trade, pretty good because Anthony Simons, he was a spark plug. He's having a good year. He's coming off the bench this year, but it's not something you didn't need a guard. You didn't need that extra guard. Sometimes you didn't even play him. So getting a center that can give you a lot of quality minutes more than Anthony Simons, and you're kind of you're swapping seconds, and Chicago's second is going to be a higher pick. I love the trade for sure. Got to give Chicago. I'm gonna give Chicago. I don't know at the moment because I don't know what they do with 7 guards. I'm gonna give them a C. You gotta trade Ayo and Kobe at the moment. Definitely Kobe White. And then for the Celtics, I gotta give them an A+. This is the perfect trade for him. Like I said, Vooch is gonna be that type of guy that can help him out, and he could be in that pick and pop situation with Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard. Bring size, and him and Kata could be disruptive. And moving on for the final thing I want to talk about today, I want to talk about James Harden requesting a trade right during a Sixers and Clippers game. Something that nobody expected because they're 17-4 in the last 21. They've been winning. They're jumping up in the standings. And why does James Harden request a trade? The biggest news point right now, as we see, is that James Harden might be a Cav and Darius Garland is going to be a Clipper, as Windhorst said right here. If we look at this from the Clippers standpoint, if you get rid of Harden, who's 36, and he's been wanting an extension, somebody you don't want to pay him, you get a younger guy in Darius Garland, who's think about 25. Yeah, it did make a little bank, but he's like 10 years younger, a little injury prone, but something I don't think of on the Clippers. I don't know if I want to see because this is a good year, but I'm not a Clippers fan, so I can't say much about what I would want. But you get a young guy who is promising for sure if he stays healthy. He's a great player. And then I want to talk about the Cavs side, especially because you get the Cavs, you have a starting lineup of James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Tyson, Mobley, and Jared Allen. If you don't make no more trades with Jared Allen, a team that already has the defense, and then you bring in James Harden that can help on the playmaking and take the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hands because Donovan Mitchell is carrying that team on offense at the moment. But he brings that playmaking. He has 2 lob threats in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen that he would love to have. Something that James Harden, he does every year. Clint Capella, Zubac, lob threat. He's a playmaker. He probably wouldn't score as much, obviously, as he is on the Clippers, but he would be a very useful type of guy out there. And that's something I think Cleveland has to do because this is a year you have to win before you have to shut it all down. Not the Clippers, sorry. The Cavaliers, they've been the ones the past couple years and lost in the second round to the Pacers last year. Lost in the second round the other year. And you have a team of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, you had D Hunt, you had Mobley, Jared Allen, you have a all-star, like 3 all-stars, 4 type of all-stars. You have a super team kind of. You have Donovan Mitchell who's been averaging 30, and you can't make the finals in the East. Like that's bad. It's something you can't see. So if they do make this move, which I think it is on their decision, that's a move I am making for sure. Got to see what else the Cavs can bring though, or what the Clippers want from the Cavs. But that's a move I am making because I think that's a move that can help you win. And James Harden, I want to see him in the playoffs again, and I want to see him win a ring. Maybe win a ring. But that's it for this Tuesday so far. We haven't seen nothing else yet, but these next 2 days, maybe for the rest of the night, we'll definitely see some stuff. A lot of stuff involving Giannis, Ja Morant. We got a bunch of big names to watch out for, and I hope it gets even better than it is right now because today was a good day of trades. But until next time.